Hi everyone, it's Russell Lowe speaking, and in this tutorial I'm going to focus on drawing the country icon of the Picto chart. But before I do that, I just wanted to reiterate something about layers. So you can see that the female figure here, I've got a colour that's behind her and a colour that's in front of her in these rectangular shapes. And you can see them here in the layer view. Here's the bottom one. You can see that selected. Here's the top one. You can see that selected. And you can see that it's on top of the female icon in the stack. If I click this and drag it down here, you can see now she's on top of everything below, which is the different colors. So when I add another layer, and I'll lock that one, when I add another layer, everything in this layer will be on top of everything in this layer and on top of everything in this layer. So just keep that in mind if things disappear or as a way to actually build up shapes. So let's go over here, and once again in this layer I'm going to drop the transparency down to say 40%, and then we may as well use this color because it's selected. Choose the pen tool and then start drawing. So pen tool, start drawing. We can, this is a fill, and you can see it's coloring things in. So let's just swap that to a stroke. And in fact, let's go to our swatches and make that like that lime green, just so it's easy to see, and lift it up a little bit. So you can trace around this, zoom in, and obviously do it a lot faster. Sorry, and probably not much faster because I'm being very rough, but more accurately is what I mean to say. So tracing around the outside here, and now we've got an outline. We can swap it, and there's our fill with no outline around the outside. Now we want to draw the rivers on top. So let's select that color. Let's go to the pen. Actually, I'll make sure this is deselected. And then I'll select the pen again. And in the pen color, I'll choose this. And that's a fill now. So let's swap it to a stroke. And then tracing around here. Now I'm doing all of these with straight lines at the moment. That's not always going to be appropriate, but I'll talk about how to draw curved lines in another tutorial. I'm going to escape, and then I'm going to start drawing from this corner here. Oops. So, and you can see what happened. It actually subtracted that anchor point. So what I need to do is start from here and go work back towards that shape. If we start at that one, Illustrator gets confused about what you're trying to do and thinks you're trying to delete the anchor point. There are some tricks about relating to how you can start a line directly on another point, but it's much easier just to start it somewhere else and to work back into it. So here we go. I can select those items. I can then bring it across to here, and I can now adjust that layer. So if we go to our layer, I can adjust its, make sure it's focused on this layer, and I can crank up its opacity so we can see everything again. And then I can go into my swatches and I can select the background and what we want, that sort of white. And then I can select these rivers. I hold down Shift to select both of them at once, and we can have them sort of the peachy kind of color. Now, I selected that color when it was on fill. So go Control Z and then make sure that the stroke is on top up here or the stroke is on top over here. But when you're selecting colors in the swatches, keep an eye on this, and you can adjust it here too and make sure that it's on stroke, and then minimize that, and we can make them a little bigger and then click anywhere to deselect. Select this, go Control G to group it, makes it easy to select and move around. And as you can see, because it is ahead of or on a layer above the rest of it, it obscures everything. So let's go back into the layers, and we can actually drag this whole layer under that tracing layer, and then we want these elements from the tracing layer to be behind those. So I'll need to select both of those using Shift to make a multiple selection. Let's just maybe select them, like unlock that layer first, shall we? Select both of those, go Control or Command X, then go to this bottom layer here, unlock it, go to that bottom layer and go Control Paste in Place, which is Control or Command F, and that puts it right back where you had it, and now they're on that very bottom layer. And then I can now lock that, select this layer which has this one on. I can go Shift Alt to drag that up a bit bigger, and just to illustrate a point, I can stretch it so it fills up more of the space, and then reduce, holding Shift and Alt, reduce her down, select Alt and click and drag to make a copy, go Control or Command D to duplicate that. Oop. Try not to select all of those. I'll lock that layer, Control and Alt and drag, and then Control D, and you can see now we can select just this one. And why don't we give her, with the fill selected, let's make her and get rid of that stroke, and there we go. So we've got something much closer to this now, and hopefully some skills you can learn, you can use elsewhere. Thanks very much for watching.